In the icy grip of a Wisconsin storm, a struggling single dad risked it all to save twin girls from a blazing bus. Their cries echoed in the flames, but a DNA test unveiled a secret that shattered his world. Hey, if you love heartwarming stories, hit that like button now, thank you. The wind howled through Pine Creek, a small town tucked in Wisconsin's snowy north, where winter bites hard. It was just past midnight. Caleb Monroe's beat-up pickup truck growled along County Road 17. Snowflakes swirled in the headlights, thick and relentless. At 38, Caleb was a mechanic, his hands rough from years at the garage, his heart heavier from life's blows. He lived for one thing, his 10-year-old son, Finn, sleeping back in their creaky trailer. Everything else bills. Grief. The whispers in town was just noise. Caleb's life wasn't what he'd planned. 4 years ago, his wife, Emily, lost her fight with leukemia, leaving him with Finn and a stack of medical bills that never seemed to shrink. He worked days at Ray's auto shop, nights hauling deliveries for extra cash. Tonight was one of those nights. The truck loaded with crates, the road empty except for the storm. He liked the quiet, the way it let him think about Finn, about keeping the kids' world steady despite the cracks in their own. But tonight, the quiet broke. A glow flickered ahead, sharp and wrong against the snowy dark. Caleb slowed, squinting. A barn fire. No. The truck rounded a curve, and there it was, a school bus, tilted against a guardrail, half over the frozen creek below. Flames chewed its back, smoke curling like a beast waking up. Caleb's pulse spiked. He slammed the brakes, tires skidding, the truck lurching into a snowbank. He was out before he could think, boots crunching, the air thick with burning rubber and diesel. "Anyone there?" he yelled, voice lost in the blizzard. A cry answered, small, desperate. Then another. Kids. Caleb's heart pounded. He didn't hesitate, didn't weigh the odds. He ran to the bus, heat blasting his face. The emergency door warped and stuck. He slammed his shoulder against it, pain shooting down his arm. Once, twice, it popped open. Inside was chaos. Smoke choked the air. Seats melted. Flames crawling up the walls. Caleb coughed, eyes watering. His jacket pulled over his mouth. "Where are you?" he shouted. A whimper came from the middle rows, faint but clear. He climbed over debris, hands burning through his gloves, the bus groaning like it might give way. There two girls, huddled together, no older than 7, twins. Maybe. Their dark curls soaked with sweat, faces smudged with ash. One clutched a blue scarf, trembling. The other had a cut on her cheek, blood trickling. "Hey, I'm here," Caleb said, voice calm despite the roar around them. "We're getting out. Hold on to me." They didn't move, eyes wide with fear. He knelt, quick but gentle, lifting the smaller one, her scarf still tight in her fist under one arm, the other girl under his other. "Close your eyes." "Okay." The cut cheek girl nodded, clinging to his jacket. The scarf girl whimpered, small hands gripping his shirt. Caleb backed out, smoke clawing his lungs. The bus shaking. Flames licked closer. A window shattering behind them. He stumbled through the door, boots slipping, and hit the snow, knees sinking. He set the girls down, soft as he could, their breaths shaky, but there. "You're safe," he said, voice rough, peeling off his scorched jacket to wrap around them. The scarf girl coughed, tears streaking her face. The cut cheek girl whispered, "Is Ellie okay?" Caleb checked the smaller one, Ellie. He figured, she's breathing. Sweetheart, you both are. He touched her shoulder, steadying her. What's your name? Mia, she said, voice barely audible. Ellie coughed again, clutching her scarf tighter. Sirens wailed, cutting through the storm. Red and blue lights flashed, ambulances and fire trucks closing in. Caleb exhaled, hands blistered, shaking. Paramedics rushed over, blankets and flashlights. Voices sharp. Sir, you injured? One asked, eyeing Caleb's torn sleeve, blood mixing with soot. I'm fine, Caleb said. Take care of them. He stepped back, letting the medics swarm. Ellie and Mia were bundled into an ambulance, their small hands locked together. Caleb watched, chest tight, then trudged to his truck, the fire's heat still on his skin. He drove home, the road a blur. His trailer was cold, the kind that settles in your bones. Finn slept in his room, curled under a quilt, his dinosaur lamp casting a soft glow. Caleb stood in the doorway, watching his son's chest rise and fall. Safe, whole. He kicked off his boots, ran water over his raw hands, and caught his reflection in the bathroom mirror. Soot streaked his face, his brown eyes tired, older than 38. He tried to sleep, couldn't. The flames, the girl's cries, Mia's whisper, "Is Ellie okay?" Satsang played on repeat. Morning came, gray and heavy. Caleb was up, coffee brewing, Finn stumbling out in pajamas. Dad, you smell like smoke, Finn said, grabbing cereal. Caleb forced a smile. Long night. Buddy. He didn't mention the bus, the fire, the way his hands still trembled. Finn had enough to carry losing Emily. Moving to the trailer, the kids at school who teased him for his patched-up backpack. Caleb kept the weight to himself. But Pine Creek was small, and news traveled fast. By mid-morning, his phone buzzed. Ray, his boss, voice loud. Caleb, you're on the damn news. Saved kids from a burning bus. You're a hero. Man, Caleb frowned. What news? Ray laughed. Check your phone. Video's viral. Whole town's talking. Caleb opened his phone, uneasy. A shaky clip showed him running from the bus, Ellie and Mia in his arms. Flames behind him. The headline, Local man rescues twins from bus fire. His stomach twisted. He didn't want this attention. Eyes on him. His quiet life cracked open. He just did what needed doing. Nothing more. The trailer's door rattled with knocks by noon. Neighbors. A reporter from the Pine Creek Gazette. Even Mrs. Larson from the diner. Her apron still on. We're proud of you. Caleb, she said, handing him a pie. Town could use some good news. Caleb mumbled thanks. Door half closed. Just did what anyone would. But they kept coming. Their smiles too bright, like he was someone new. Finn, though, was thrilled. Dad, you're like Captain America. Caleb ruffled his hair, throat tight. Just your dad? Kid. He tried to move on. Shoveling snow from the trailer's steps. Feeding Rusty, their old hound who barely lifted his head, but the world wouldn't let him. His phone kept buzzing texts, calls, more news clips. He was hauling trash when a low hum stopped him cold. Not a pickup or a plow, but something sleek. He looked up. A silver SUV, out of place in Pine Creek's gravel lots, idled in the snow. A woman stepped out, late 30s, wrapped in a gray coat, auburn hair catching the flakes. Her eyes were sharp, warm. carrying a weight Caleb couldn't place. "Mr. Monroe," she called, voice clear over the wind. Caleb nodded, wiping his hands on his jeans. "Yeah, that's me." She stepped closer, boots crunching. "I'm Nora Hensley. You saved my girls, Ellie and Mia." Caleb blinked. Not their mother. Then, her girls. "Oh, they okay?" he asked, voice rough. Nora's smile was small, raw, alive. "Thanks to you. A few bruises, some stitches. But they're here." Caleb shifted, uneasy with her gratitude. "Good. That's what matters." Nora's eyes glistened. "They keep talking about you. The man who carried them out. They want to thank you. Will you come by? Just for a bit." Caleb hesitated. He wasn't good with this praise. Strangers. Stepping into lives he didn't know. But Finn's voice echoed. Captain America. And those girls' faces. Scared, but trusting. "Okay," he said, low. For them, Nora's house was worlds from his trailer. A modern sprawl of glass and wood by the lake. Pines framing it like a postcard. Finn came along, bouncing in the truck, excited for new friends. Caleb parked, hands lingering on the wheel. "Be good." "Okay," he told Finn, who grinned. "Always. Dad." They knocked, and Nora opened the door, her smile softer now, welcoming. "Come in," she said, stepping aside. Inside, it smelled of cedar and warmth, a stark contrast to the trailer's chill. Ellie and Mia sat on a plush couch, blankets over their laps, their curls clean, faces brighter. Mia's cheek had a small bandage, Ellie's hands still gripping her scarf. Their eyes lit up when they saw Caleb. "You're him," Ellie said, voice high. Mia, quieter, whispered. "Thank you." Caleb knelt, awkward but earnest. "Glad you're okay." "Kids." Finn waved, shy but eager. "I'm Finn. You like to draw." The kids clicked. Instant and easy. Finn pulled out his sketchbook dragons, mostly while Ellie and Mia giggled, pointing at a winged beast with a crown. Caleb watched, something easing in his chest. Nora handed him coffee, the mug warm against his blistered hands. "They're good together," she said, nodding at the kids. Caleb nodded, sipping. Finn could use friends. Nora's eyes softened. "Ellie and Mia, too. It's been tough." Caleb caught the weight in her voice. "You their mom?" he asked. "Careful." Nora shook her head, her smile bittersweet. "Their guardian, their parents, James and Lily, died 3 years ago. Car accident. I was Lily's best friend. Promised I'd raise them." Caleb's chest tightened. He knew loss, knew the void it left. "You're doing right by them," he said, quiet. Nora's laugh was soft. "Sad. I hope so." They sat, the kids' chatter filling the silence. Nora's house felt alive, not like Caleb's trailer, where quiet clung like frost. But something nagged him. Ellie's laugh, Mia's shy grin. They felt familiar, like Finn's when he was younger. Caleb brushed it off, blaming the fire, the adrenaline still clouding his head. "You from here?" he asked, shifting focus. Nora nodded. "Grew up in Pine Creek. Left for Chicago after college. Came back for the girls." Caleb studied her, polished, but not distant. Her hands fidgeted, like she wasn't used to stillness. "You didn't have to come to me," he said. Nora met his gaze, firm. "Yes, I did. You ran into fire." "Caleb, for kids you didn't know, That's not nothing. He looked away, uneasy. Just what was right. Nora's voice softened. That's why it matters. Finn ran over, Ellie and Mia trailing. She will still stay touched. Dad. Can they meet Rusty? They love dogs. Caleb raised a brow. Rusty's half-blind and lazy. Ellie's eyes widened. We don't care. Nora laughed. The sound light. Real. Maybe soon, she said, glancing at Caleb. If that's okay. He nodded, surprising himself. Yeah. Why not? They left as snow fell harder. Finn quiet, clutching his sketchbook. They're cool, he said, soft. Caleb smiled, ruffling his hair. Glad you think so, buddy. But his mind wasn't on the kids. Not fully. It was on Nora's eyes. Ellie's laugh. Mia's scarf. Something felt off. Like a puzzle piece he couldn't place. It's nothing, he told himself. Just a long night. Back at the trailer, Finn asleep, Rusty snoring. Caleb checked his phone. More messages. More news clips. Pine Creek, hero saves twins. Yet, he shut it off. Jaw tight. He didn't want fame. Didn't want his life under a spotlight. He was Caleb Monroe, Finn's dad, the guy who fixed cars. But the world was watching. And something was stirring, like snow shifting before an avalanche. Morning brought routine coffee. Finn to school. The garage. Ray had the radio on. Caleb's stories still circling. You're a legend. Monroe, he teased. Caleb grunted, sliding under a fort. Tell that to my landlord. But Ray wasn't wrong. Customers lingered, asking about the fire, clapping his shoulder. Old Mr. Jenkins, who never tipped, left an extra $10. For a good man, he said. Caleb took it, muttering thanks, his chest tight. He was tightening a bolt when Nora called. Hope I'm not bothering you, she said, voice warm. The girls won't stop asking about Finn. They want to see Rusty. Tonight, okay? Caleb paused, grease on his hands, her voice in his ear. Yeah, he said. Slow. Tonight works. She laughed. Soft. Great. I'll bring pizza. No allergies. Right? He chuckled, caught off guard. Not that I know of. The call ended, but her voice stayed with him. Caleb shook his head, focusing on the engine. It was just pizza. Just kids. Nothing more. But Finn's grin, Ellie's scarf, Mia's quiet thank you, they were in his head, tangled with Nora's gray eyes. He didn't know it yet. But that fire hadn't just saved two girls. It had lit a fuse, one that would burn through secrets, lies, and a past buried deep. A family was waiting, and Caleb was about to crash into it, ready or not. The snow hadn't stopped falling in Pine Creek, blanketing the town in a hush that felt both serene and oppressive. Caleb Monroe stood in his trailer's kitchen, rinsing dishes under a flickering bulb, the smell of pizza lingering from dinner at Nora Hensley's house. Finn was in his room, sketching dragons with a focus that made Caleb smile. Though his mind wasn't on his son, it was on Ellie and Mia, their small faces in the fire, and Nora's gray eyes, steady but shadowed with something unsaid. The night had left him rattled, a feeling he couldn't shake as he dried his hands on a worn towel. Caleb's trailer was a patchwork of survival mismatched furniture, Finn's drawings taped to the fridge, a coffee pot that groaned louder than his truck. He'd learned to live with less, but tonight, the walls felt closer, the quiet heavier. He'd saved two girls from a burning bus, and now their guardian, a woman who lived in a world of polished wood and lake views, had invited him into her life. It was just gratitude, he told himself. Nothing more. But the ease of their talk, the way Finn lit up with Ellie and Mia, nagged at him like a loose bolt he couldn't tighten. He glanced at his phone, its cracked screen glowing with notifications, texts from coworkers, a voicemail from a reporter, even a message from Pastor Daniels, inviting him to Sunday service as a hero. Caleb ignored them, his jaw tight. He didn't want to be Pine Creek's poster boy, didn't want his grief over Emily or his struggle for Finn dragged into the open. But the town had other plans. By morning, his name was everywhere, local news, social media, even a blurry video clip of him running from the flames. He'd done what was right. Nothing more. Why couldn't they leave it at that? Caleb sank onto the couch, Rusty snoring at his feet. His hands, still raw from the fire, ached as he flexed them. He closed his eyes, but sleep wouldn't come. Instead, he saw Ellie's scarf, Mia's bloodied cheek, Nora's quiet strength. Something about them felt familiar, like a memory he couldn't grasp. He shook it off, blaming the adrenaline, the sleepless nights. Tomorrow, he'd go back to the garage, back to Finn, back to the life he knew. Simple, safe. Morning came cold and sharp, the sky a bruised gray over Pine Creek. Caleb was up early, coffee brewing as Finn shuffled out, rubbing his eyes. Dad, can Ellie and Mia come over today? He asked, pouring cereal. Caleb paused, mug in hand. They just saw you last night. Buddy. Finn grinned, undeterred. Yeah, but we didn't finish our dragon story. Mia says she wants to draw one with scales. Caleb's heart tugged. Finn didn't make friends easily. Not after Emily. Not after the moves and whispers. We'll see, he said, ruffling Finn's hair. School first. He dropped Finn off at Pine Creek Elementary, the lot buzzing with parents and kids' shouts. A few moms glanced his way, their smiles too bright, too knowing. Heard about you. Caleb. Mrs. Larson called, her diner apron peeking from her coat. You're a blessing. Caleb nodded, forcing a smile, and hurried to his truck. The attention was a weight, pressing harder with each step. He didn't want blessings or headlines. He just wanted to be left alone. At Ray's auto shop, the garage smelled of oil and metal, a comfort Caleb clung to. Ray was at the counter, grinning like he'd won a bet. Morning. Superman. Got a line of folks asking for you specifically. Caleb grunted, pulling on his coveralls. Just here to fix cars. Ray. But the customers came old Mr. Jenkins, the school janitor. Even a kid from Finn's class with a flat tire on his dad's sedan. They all mentioned the fire, clapping his shoulder. Their praise a mix of admiration and curiosity. Caleb kept his answers short, head down, focusing on spark plugs and oil filters. By noon, his phone buzzed. Nora's name flashed on the screen. Caleb hesitated, grease smudging his fingers, then answered. Hey, he said, voice low. Caleb. Nora's voice was warm, but tight. Hope I'm not interrupting. The girls are asking about Finn. And Rusty. I was thinking, could we swing by your place tonight? They're desperate to meet that dog. Caleb leaned against a workbench, picturing her auburn hair, gray coat, those eyes that saw too much. Trailer's not much, he said, half warning. Nora laughed. Soft. We don't care about that. Pizza again. My treat. Caleb's instinct was to say no, to keep his world small, contained. But Finn's grin, Ellie's scarf, Mia's shy smile, they pulled at him. All right, he said. 6 work. Perfect, Nora replied. See you then. He hung up. Uneasy, but oddly lighter. It was just pizza, he told himself. Just kids. Nothing more. The day dragged. Each job a distraction from the thoughts circling Caleb's mind. He fixed a radiator, patched a tire, and replaced a muffler. But Nora's voice lingered, mingling with the fire's roar in his memory. By 5, he picked Finn up from school, the kid bouncing with excitement. Ellie and Mia are coming over, Finn asked, eyes wide. Caleb nodded, managing a smile. Yeah, buddy. Don't let Rusty embarrass us. Back at the trailer, Caleb tidied up stacked dishes, swept crumbs, tossed Finn's stray socks into a hamper. The place was humble, but it was theirs, filled with Finn's laughter and Emily's ghost. Caleb paused at a photo on the fridge, Emily and Finn, 3 years ago, her smile bright despite the hospital gown. Wish you were here for this, he murmured. Touching the frame, Finn's voice broke the moment. Dad. Can we show them my dragon book? Caleb turned, forcing a grin. Sure, kid. Just don't scare him with the fire-breathing one. Finn giggled, racing to his room. Caleb exhaled, steadying himself. He wasn't ready for guests, for Nora's gratitude, for the way her presence stirred something he'd buried since Emily. But for Finn, he'd try. Nora's SUV pulled up at 6, snow crunching under its tires. She stepped out, holding a pizza box, Ellie and Mia trailing behind, bundled in coats. Ellie's scarf was still around her neck, Mia's bandage smaller now, her cheek healing. Finn burst out the door, Rusty hobbling behind, tail wagging. Ellie, Mia, this is Rusty, he shouted, kneeling as the old hound sniffed the girls. Nora smiled, handing Caleb the pizza. Hope we're not overwhelming you, she said, her breath visible in the cold. Caleb shook his head, taking the box. Nah, Finn's been buzzing all day. Come in. The trailer felt smaller with them inside. But the kids didn't notice, piling onto the couch with Rusty, giggling as he licked Mia's hand. Caleb set the pizza on the kitchen counter, Nora beside him, her coat draped over a chair. Nice place, she said, glancing around. Caleb snorted, skeptical. It's a roof. Keeps us warm. Nora's eyes met his. Gentle. It's home. That's what counts. Caleb nodded, unsure how to respond. Her sincerity disarmed him, like a wrench slipping in his hand. They ate pizza on paper plates, the kids chattering about dragons and dogs. Finn showed Ellie and Mia his sketchbook, their heads bent close, pointing at a winged beast with emerald eyes. Caleb watched, coffee in hand. Nora across from him. They're like siblings already, she said, voice soft. Caleb nodded, a pang in his chest. Finn's needed this. Friends. You know. Nora's smile was bittersweet. Ellie and Mia, too. They've been quiet since James and Lily. Caleb caught the grief in her voice, familiar as his own. How'd you end up with them? He asked. Careful. Nora sipped her coffee, eyes distant. Lily and I were like sisters. Grew up here. Shared everything. When she and James died, I was in Chicago, designing penthouses. But I promised Lily I'd take care of her girls. So I came back. She paused, fingers tracing the mug's rim. It's not easy, being what they need. But I'm trying. Caleb nodded, seeing her in a new light, not just the polished woman in the SUV, but someone carrying a load like his. You're doing good, he said, low. They're happy. Nora's eyes glistened, but she smiled. Thanks. Caleb. That means something. The kids' laughter broke the moment. Rusty barking as Finn pretended to be a dragon. Nora laughed, wiping her eyes. They're a handful, she said. Caleb grinned. Relaxing. Finn's the same. Keeps me on my toes. They fell into easy talk, kids. Pine Creek. The way winter made everything harder. Nora shared stories of Ellie's stubborn streak, Mia's quiet courage, and Caleb found himself opening up about Finn's love for dinosaurs. Emily's last days. The way he fought to keep Finn's world bright. But something kept tugging at Caleb Ellie's laugh. Sharp and clear. Like Finn's when he was 7. Mia's eyes. Green with a hint of hazel. Caught the light the same way Finn's did. He pushed it down, blaming exhaustion. But the feeling grew. A whisper he couldn't ignore. Nora noticed his quiets, her brow furrowing. You okay? She asked. Voice low. Caleb hesitated, then shrugged. Just tired. Long week. Nora nodded, but her eyes lingered, like she saw through him. You've been through a lot, she said. The fire, the news. You don't have to carry it alone. Caleb's throat tightened. He wasn't used to this someone seeing him. Not just the hero or the widower, but him. I'm fine, he said. Too quick. Nora didn't push, just nodded. Her silence more comforting than words. The evening wound down. The kids yawning. Rusty asleep on the rug. Nora gathered Ellie and Mia, their coats rustling. We should get going, she said, smiling. But this was good. Caleb. Really good. Finn hugged the girls, promising to draw them a dragon. And Caleb walked them to the SUV, snow falling soft around them. Thanks for coming, he said, hands in his pockets. Nora met his gaze, her eyes warm. Thanks for letting us. Let's do it again. Okay. The girls would love it. Caleb nodded, surprising himself. Yeah. Finn. Too. She smiled, climbing into the SUV, and Caleb watched them drive off, the red taillights fading into the storm. Back inside, Finn was half asleep, sketchbook open. Caleb carried him to bed, tucking the quilt around him. They're my friends now, right? Dad, Finn mumbled. Caleb's heart swelled. Yeah, buddy. They are... He kissed Finn's forehead, turning off the dinosaur lamp, but sleep eluded Caleb again, his mind racing. Ellie's laugh, Mia's eyes, Nora's words, they churned, pulling at a thread he couldn't name. The next day was a blur of routine garage work, Finn's homework, dodging more calls about the fire. The news hadn't slowed. A local station running a segment, Pine Creek Hero Saves Orphans. Caleb winced at the word orphans, hating how it stripped Ellie and Mia of their story. He wanted to protect them, keep their small world safe, but the town's eyes were relentless. By afternoon, Ray handed him a newspaper, grinning. Your front page. Monroe. Caleb glanced at it, a photo of him outside the bus, flames behind him. The headline, Mechanic's Bravery Saves Twins. And he tossed it aside, jaw tight. Don't need this, he muttered. Ray clapped his shoulder. People need heroes. Man, let 'em have one. Caleb didn't want to be a hero. He wanted to fix cars, raise Finn, keep the bills paid. But the attention grew, customers tipping extra, neighbors dropping off casseroles, even a kid at Finn's school asking for his autograph. Finn thought it was awesome, but Caleb felt exposed, like his life was no longer his own. Nora called again that evening, her voice a lifeline in the noise. Caleb. The girls won't stop talking about Finn's dragons, she said, laughing. They want to make a storybook with him. You free tomorrow? Caleb leaned against the trailer's counter, the phone warm in his hand. Tomorrow's tight, he said, thinking of a double shift. But maybe Sunday. Sunday's perfect, Nora said. My place. I'll cook something better than pizza. Caleb hesitated, the pull of her voice strong. Sounds good, he said finally. Finn will be thrilled. They talked a bit longer Ellie's new obsession with painting. Finn's science project. The way Pine Creek's winters never ended. When he hung up, Caleb felt a warmth he hadn't in years. But it came with a shadow. Nora wasn't just grateful, she was reaching out, building something. And he wasn't sure he could follow. Sunday morning, Caleb and Finn drove to Nora's, the lake sparkling under a rare, clear sky. Finn clutched his sketchbook, chattering about dragons, while Caleb's mind wandered. He'd woken to another news alert. Hero Mechanics past revealed. But the article dug into Emily's death, the medical debt, his life in the trailer. It was accurate, but raw. Like someone had cracked open his chest for the world to see. He'd turned off his phone, but the violation lingered. Nora's house was warm, smelling of roasted chicken and herbs. Ellie and Mia greeted Finn with squeals, dragging him to a table covered in paper and paints. Nora smiled at Caleb, apron dusted with flour. Welcome back, she said, handing him a coffee. Hope you're hungry. Caleb managed a smile, setting Finn's backpack down. Smells better than my cooking. They sat the kids at a small table, their laughter filling the room as they painted dragons. Caleb and Nora took the kitchen island, coffee between them. Finn's a natural artist, Nora said, watching the kids. Ellie's already copying his style. Caleb nodded, pride mixing with unease. He gets it from Emily. She loved to draw. Nora's eyes softened. You miss her. It wasn't a question. Caleb nodded, staring into his mug. Every day. Finn keeps her alive, though. Nora touched his hand. Brief but warm. You're a good dad. Caleb. Finn's lucky. Caleb's throat tightened. He wasn't used to this kindness that didn't ask for anything back. But the unease grew. Ellie's laugh cut through the room, sharp and familiar, like Finn's at her age. Mia's eyes caught the light, green with that same hazel fleck. Caleb's coffee grew cold, his mind racing. It wasn't just the fire, the adrenaline. Something connected them, something he couldn't name. Nora noticed, her brow furrowing. Caleb, what's wrong? He hesitated, the words heavy. It's stupid, he said, low. But the girls, they remind me of Finn. Their laugh, their eyes. I don't know why. Nora's face changed. A flicker of something surprise, maybe fear. They're just kids, she said. Too quick. Lots of kids look alike. Caleb nodded, but the thread tightened, pulling at him. The day unfolded in warmth, lunch, painting, the kids reading their dragon story aloud. Nora was easy to talk to, sharing bits of her life, Chicago's rush, Pine Creek's quiet, the weight of raising Ellie and Mia. Caleb opened up, too, about Emily's laugh, Finn's first bike, the way debt kept him awake. But the feeling lingered, a puzzle he couldn't solve. As they left, Nora hugged Finn, then Caleb, her touch lingering. This was good, she said, eyes bright. Let's keep it going. Okay, Caleb nodded, his smile real but strained. Yeah, Finn loved that. They drove home, Finn asleep in the back seat, the lake fading behind them. Caleb's mind wouldn't rest. Ellie's laugh. Mia's eyes. Nora's quick dismissal they churned, demanding answers. Monday brought more noise. The news had dug deeper. A radio host speculating about Caleb's tragic past. He turned it off. But the garage was no refuge. Customers asked about the fire. The girls, even Nora, heard you're close with their guardian. A regular teased, winking. Caleb brushed it off. But it stung. His life wasn't a story for them to pick apart. Nora texted that afternoon. Girls want to see Finn's school project. Mind if we stop by tomorrow? Caleb stared at the screen, torn. He wanted Finn to have friends, wanted Nora's warmth. But the attention, the puzzle, the feeling it was too much. He typed back, "Sure, after school," and her reply was quick. "Great. We'll bring cookies." Sure. Tuesday. Nora arrived at the trailer with Ellie and Mia, a tin of chocolate chip cookies in hand. Finn led the girls to his room, showing off his dinosaur diorama, their laughter spilling out. Caleb and Nora sat in the kitchen, coffee brewing. "You're quiet," she said, studying him. Caleb shrugged, avoiding her gaze. "Just work. News won't let up." Nora nodded, her fingers tapping the mug. "I saw the articles. I'm sorry." "Caleb, you don't deserve this." He met her eyes, seeing genuine regret. "Not your fault," he said. "Just wish they'd leave us alone." Nora hesitated, then spoke, voice low. "There's something else, isn't there? Yesterday, you said the girls remind you of Finn." Caleb's chest tightened. He hadn't meant to bring it up, but her eyes held him, demanding truth. "It's their laugh," he said, slow. "Their eyes, like Finn's. When he was little." Sounds crazy. "I know." Nora's face paled, her hand stilling. "It's not crazy," she said, barely audible. "I've noticed it, too." Caleb's pulse quickened. "What do you mean?" Nora looked away, her voice unsteady. "James, the girl's dad. He grew up here, had family in Pine Creek. I never met them. But Lily said he had a cousin, someone he lost touch with. I found a photo of James recently. He looked a little like you." The words hit Caleb like a wrench, heavy and cold. "Like me?" he asked, voice rough. Nora nodded, pulling out her phone. She opened a photo, an old snapshot of a man, early 30s, dark hair, green hazel eyes, a smile like Finn's. Caleb stared, his breath shallow. The resemblance wasn't exact, but it was there, close enough to unsettle him. "I don't understand," Caleb said, his mind reeling. "I grew up in foster care. No family, no cousins, just me." Nora's eyes were wide, searching his. "Caleb, what if you weren't alone? What if James was more than a cousin?" The question hung. Impossible. Terrifying. Caleb shook his head, standing. "That's not possible. I'd know." Nora stood too, her voice urgent. "Maybe you didn't. Families get split up. Records lost. I'm not saying it's true, but the girls, Finn, the way they're so alike, it's not just chance." Caleb's hands clenched. The trailer closing in. "Why now? Why after the fire?" Nora's eyes softened, but her voice was firm. "Because you saved them, Caleb. You brought us together. Maybe this is why." The kids' laughter broke through. Finn calling for more paper. Caleb exhaled, shaken. "I need time," he said, low. Nora nodded, touching his hand. "I know, but we can't ignore this. For them." She nodded toward the kids, their heads bent over the diorama, oblivious. That night, Caleb couldn't sleep. He sat on the couch, Rusty at his feet. The photo of James burned into his mind. Foster care had been his life, different homes. No roots, no answers. He'd built a world for Finn, small but solid. Now, Nora's words threatened to crack it open. A brother, a family. It was too much, too fast. But Ellie's laugh, Mia's eyes, they were real, pulling him toward a truth he wasn't ready for. The next day, Nora texted, "I found a DNA kit. We could test Finn." The girls. No pressure, but it might answer things. And Caleb stared at the message, his jaw tight. He wanted to say no, to keep his life as it was. But Finn's grin, the girls' trust, Nora's steady gaze, they held him. He typed back, "Let's talk tomorrow. My place." Oh, the fuse was lit, and Caleb knew there was no turning back. Snow fell lighter now in Pine Creek, the storm easing into a soft drift that blanketed the town. Caleb Monroe stood in his trailer's kitchen, coffee gone cold. The DNA kit Nora sent sitting unopened on the counter. Its plain white box felt heavier than it should, like it held more than cotton swabs and instructions. Finn was at school, his dinosaur diorama finished, his laughter from last night with Ellie and Mia still echoing in Caleb's mind. Nora's words, her photo of James. The girl's familiar eyes, they churned, pulling him toward a truth he wasn't sure he wanted. Caleb's life had always been simple, not by choice, but by necessity. At 38, he was a mechanic, a father, a man who kept his head down, his heart locked tight since Emily's death. The trailer, the garage, the bills, they were his world, small and manageable. But the fire had changed that, thrusting him into Pine Creek's spotlight, into Nora's orbit, into questions about a family he'd never known. He'd grown up in foster care. No parents, no siblings, just a string of homes that never lasted. The idea of a brother James. Ellie and Mia's dad felt like a puzzle piece forced into the wrong slot. He picked up the kit, calloused hands blistered from the fire, and rubbed them together. The trailer was quiet. Rusty curled in a corner, the fridge humming. Caleb's eyes caught a photo Finn, smiling, holding a toy truck. Emily's shadow just out of frame. He'd built everything for Finn, to give him what he'd never had. Stability, love. Now Nora's suggestion, a DNA test, threatened to rewrite that story, to tie Finn to Ellie and Mia in ways Caleb didn't know how to face. His phone buzzed. Nora's name on the screen. He answered, voice low. "Hey," Caleb said. "Caleb." Nora's voice was soft. "Careful. You get the kit." He glanced at the box, jaw tight. "Yeah." Staring at it, she paused, the silence heavy. "I know it's a lot," she said. "We don't have to do it now, but I can't stop thinking about James. The girls, Finn, the way they're so alike." Caleb's chest tightened. "I need to know more," he said. "Before I put Finn through this." Nora exhaled. "Fair. I found some of James's old stuff in storage letters. A journal. Lily kept everything. I could bring them over. Maybe they'll tell us something." Caleb hesitated. He wanted to say no, to shove the kit in a drawer and forget it. But Finn's laugh, Ellie's scarf, Mia's shy grin, they held him. "All right," he said. "Tonight, after Finn's asleep." Nora's voice warmed. "Okay. 7. I'll leave the girls with a sitter." Caleb nodded, though she couldn't see. "Works." The day dragged, each moment a tug between fear and need. At Ray's auto shop, Caleb buried himself in work tightening bolts, patching a fuel line, ignoring the customers' glances, their murmurs about the fire. Ray, his boss, leaned on the counter, grinning. "Caleb, you're still the town's favorite story." Caleb grunted, sliding under a sedan. "Tell them to find a new one." But the attention didn't fade. A woman, dropping off her keys, thanked him for being an example. Caleb nodded, jaw tight, and kept working. By afternoon, he picked Finn up from school, the kid's backpack bouncing. "Dad, Mia drew me a dragon with armor," Finn said, climbing in. Caleb smiled, ruffling his hair. "She's got skills." "Buddy." Finn's joy was a bright spot, but it came with a shadow. If the test showed truth, Finn's world, his friends, his story would change. Caleb wasn't sure he could carry that weight. Back at the trailer, Caleb made dinner grilled cheese, Finn's favorite. Simple and quick. Finn chattered about school, his diorama, the way Ellie wanted to add a castle to their dragon story. Caleb listened, nodding, but his mind was on the kit, on Nora, on James. After dinner, Finn drew in his room, while Caleb tidied, the clock ticking towards 7. He moved the kit to a drawer, out of sight, but not out of mind. Nora arrived, her SUV's headlights cutting through the dusk. She carried a small cardboard box, her auburn hair dusted with snow, gray eyes steady but nervous. "Hope I'm not late," she said. Stepping inside, Caleb shook his head, taking her coat. "Right on time." "Coffee." Nora nodded. "Please." He brewed a pot, black, strong, the ritual grounding him as Rusty sniffed Nora's boots. They sat at the kitchen table, the box between them. Nora opened it, pulling out a leather journal, its cover worn, and a stack of letters tied with string. "This was James's," she said, voice low. "Lily gave it to me after their wedding. I never read it. Felt private. But now," she trailed off, fingers brushing the journal. Caleb stared, his pulse quickening. "What's in it?" he asked. Nora shrugged, her voice soft. "I skimmed. Mostly his thoughts: college, meeting Lily, moving to Pine Creek. But there's a bit about his childhood. He mentioned a brother, younger, lost when they were kids. Social services split them up." Caleb's breath caught. "A brother?" he asked, voice rough. Nora nodded, meeting his eyes. He didn't know what happened to him, just that he was gone. Caleb's hands clenched, the trailer's walls closing in. "I was in foster care," he said, slow. "No family. No one ever mentioned a brother." Nora's eyes softened. "Records get lost. Caleb. Kids get moved. It happens." He shook his head. "The idea too big, too raw." "You're saying James was my brother? And Ellie and Mia?" He couldn't finish. The words stuck. Nora reached for his hand, her touch warm. "I'm saying it's possible. The girls. Finn, they're so alike. James's photo. Your eyes, it's not just chance." Caleb pulled back, standing, pacing. "This is crazy," he said, voice low. "I built a life for Finn. Just us. Now you're saying I had a brother, nieces, a whole family I never knew." Nora stood, her voice steady. "I know it's a lot, but think about the girls. They lost their parents. If you're their father, it could mean everything." Caleb stopped, her words hitting hard. Ellie's scarf, Mia's quiet thank you, they flashed in his mind. "And Finn?" he asked, Voice breaking. What do I tell him? Nora's eyes glistened. The truth. When we know it. He's strong. Caleb. Like you. He shook his head, leaning against the counter. The DNA kit's weight in the drawer pulling at him. I don't know if I can do this, he said. Low. Nora stepped closer, her voice firm. You ran into a fire for strangers. You can face this for Finn. For the girls. They sat again. The journal open. Nora read passages aloud. James's words painting a life Caleb didn't know growing up in Pine Creek. A mother who struggled. A father gone early. A brother he loved but lost. Each word was a stone, building a bridge to a past Caleb had buried. One entry, dated years ago. Hit hardest. I dream about him sometimes. My little brother. Wonder if he's out there, if he's okay. Chisoto. Caleb's throat tightened, his eyes burning. I was out there, he whispered. Nora touched his arm, silent, letting him feel it. They moved to the letters, some from James to Lily, others from his mother, faded and fragile. One mentioned a boy, C, taken by social services after a fire. Caleb froze. A fire? He asked, voice hoarse. He remembered one. Dimly smoke, sirens, being pulled from a house at 5, alone. Nora's eyes widened. You think it's you? Caleb shook his head. Unsure. I don't know. It's fuzzy. I was young, but the pieces fit, jagged and sharp. Nora pulled out her phone, showing James's photo again, dark hair, green hazel eyes. Finn's smile. Caleb stared, his reflection in the screen blending with James's. It's not proof, he said. Low. Not enough. Nora nodded, her voice gentle. That's why the kit satsyatsonte. It's certain. Caleb glanced at the drawer, his chest tight. Finn's got to be part of this, he said. I won't hide it from him. Nora agreed, her eyes steady. We'll talk to him together. The girls, too. They deserve to know. Finn's door creaked open, his sleepy voice breaking the tension. Dad? Is Nora staying? Caleb forced a smile. Standing. Just talking. Buddy. Back to bed. Finn shuffled over, hugging Nora. Then Caleb, his warmth grounding him. Night, Finn mumbled, heading back. Caleb watched him go, heart heavy. He's my world, he said, low. Nora nodded. I know. We'll do this right. Nora left soon after, leaving the journal and letters. Caleb sat alone, Rusty snoring, the trailer quiet. He opened the journal again, tracing James' handwriting, each word a thread to a life he hadn't known. Sleep didn't come, his mind racing James. The fire, Ellie's laugh, Mia's eyes. By dawn, he was up, coffee brewing, Finn stirring. Dad, you look tired, Finn said, grabbing cereal. Caleb managed a smile. Long night. Kid. The day was routine school drop-off. Garage work. Customers' praise. But Caleb's mind was elsewhere. The journal in his truck. Nora's words in his head. Ray noticed, tossing him a rag. You okay? Monroe. Looked like you saw a ghost. Caleb shrugged, wiping grease. Something like that. He didn't elaborate. Couldn't. Not yet. Nora texted at noon. Talk to the girls. They're curious about Finn. About you. Ready to explain the kit. Caleb's thumb hovered, his gut twisting. He typed back. Tonight. My place. Finn needs to hear it first. But her reply was quick. I'll bring them. We'll do this together. Dad. After work, Caleb picked Finn up, the kid chattering about a science quiz. At home, Caleb made spaghetti. Simple. Finn's favorite. They ate. Finn talking about dragons. Caleb half listening, his mind on the kit. After dishes, he sat Finn down on the couch, heart pounding. Buddy, he said, voice low. We gotta talk about something. Finn looked up, curious. Is it about Ellie and Mia? Caleb nodded, choosing words carefully. Yeah. You know how they feel like friends, almost like family. Finn grinned. They're awesome. Caleb swallowed, his hands clasped. There's a chance they might be family, like cousins. Maybe, we're not sure, but there's a test we can take to find out. Finn's eyes widened, like a DNA test. From school, Caleb nodded, surprised. Yeah, exactly. It'd mean swabbing your cheek, sending it to a lab. Ellie and Mia would do it, too. Finn tilted his head, thinking, would that mean I have more family? Caleb's chest ached. Finn's hope raw. Maybe, buddy. We'll see. Finn nodded, serious. Okay. Dad, I want to know. Caleb pulled him close, hugging tight. You're my guy. Finn. Always. Finn hugged back. Warm. Solid. Caleb exhaled. Steadier. Finn's strength, small but fierce, gave him courage. Nora arrived at 7 with Ellie and Mia, their coats dusted with snow. The girls hugged Finn, giggling. Rusty wagging his tail. Nora carried the DNA kit, her eyes meeting Caleb's. A silent question. He nodded, leading them to the couch. The kids sat, curious, while Caleb and Nora explained, keeping it simple family. A test. A chance to learn more. Ellie clutched her scarf. Mia's eyes wide. Will it hurt? Mia asked, voice small. Nora smiled, squeezing her hand. Just a tickle. Sweetie. Finn went first, swabbing his cheek, giggling at the feel. Ellie and Mia followed, brave, watching each other. Caleb sealed the samples, his hands steady but heart racing. Nora labeled them, her handwriting neat, the trailer quiet except for Rusty's snores. It'll take a week, she said, voice low. Maybe 2. Caleb nodded. The weight, a weight he'd carry. The kids played after Giseltag, drawing dragons, their laughter easing the tension. Nora stayed close to Caleb, her presence warm. You okay? She asked. Soft. He shrugged. Honest. Trying to be. For them. She nodded, her eyes steady. We're in this together. Caleb. He met her gaze, grateful. Something stirring trust. Maybe more. Days passed. The weight heavy. Caleb worked. Finn went to school. Nora checked in. The news slowed. Pine Creek finding new stories. But Caleb's mind didn't rest. He read James' journal nightly. Each entry a glimpse into a brother he hadn't known. One mentioned a fire smoke, a boy taken, James left alone. Caleb's memory flickered sirens. A blanket, a house gone. Was it the same? Nora invited them over Sunday. A distraction. Her house was warm, smelling of soup. The kids painting in the living room. Caleb and Nora talked in the kitchen. Coffee between them. I found more, she said, pulling out a photo James. Young, with a woman. Their mother. Maybe. Caleb stared, her eyes like his. green hazel. Finn's smile faint in her. She's gone, Nora said. Soft. Died when James was a teen. Caleb nodded. The loss familiar. No one looked for me, he said. Low. Nora touched his hand. They didn't know where to start. But you're here now. With Finn. The girls. Her words held him. A lifeline. He wanted to believe her. To see a family where he'd seen none. But doubt lingered. Sharp as snow. The week crawled. Caleb's nights sleepless. Finn asked once. When will we know? Caleb hugged him. Voice steady. Soon. Buddy. Nora called daily. Her voice a tether. The garage was routine oil changes. Tire patches, but Ray noticed Caleb's quiet. You're carrying something, he said, tossing him a soda. Caleb caught it, shrugging. Just like, the results came on a Tuesday. A plain envelope in Caleb's mailbox. He stared at it, heart pounding. Finn at school. The trailer silent. He called Nora. Voice rough. It's here. She was there in 20 minutes. Ellie and Mia with her, their eyes curious. They sat at the kitchen table, the envelope between them. Finn home now, leaning against Caleb. Nora opened it. Her hands steady, reading silently first. Her eyes widened, meeting Caleb's. It's a match, she said, voice soft. Finn. Ellie. Mia, they're siblings. Half-siblings. James was your brother. Caleb. The words landed. Heavy. Real. Caleb's breath caught. Finn's hand in his. Siblings? Finn asked. Eyes bright. Caleb nodded. Throat tight. Yeah. Buddy. They're your sisters. Ellie gasped. Mia's smile shy but wide. Finn grinned, hugging them. The kids a tangle of joy. Caleb watched, his heart full but heavy. Nora's eyes glistened, her hand on his. Your family, she said, voice breaking. Caleb nodded. The truth settling James. Gone but real. Ellie and Mia. His now. Finn's sisters. The trailer felt different. Alive with their laughter. Nora stayed, helping explain. Her presence steady. Caleb looked at Finn. Ellie. Mia. Their faces, his past. His present. He'd run into a fire for strangers. But this was for family. The weight was heavy. But he'd carry it. For them. The trailer's walls seemed to hum with new life. The air warm with the laughter of Finn. Ellie. And Mia. Caleb Monroe sat at the kitchen table. The DNA results still open. Nora's hand resting near his. The words siblings. Half-siblings. James was your brother settled into his bones. Heavy but real. Finn hugged Ellie and Mia. Their joy a bright chaos. While Rusty thumped his tail. Oblivious. Nora's gray eyes met Caleb's. Steady. Carrying a mix of relief and something unspoken. Outside, Pine Creek's snow fell soft. The world quiet. But inside, everything had shifted. Caleb's life, once a straight-line garage. Finn. Bill's now curved into unknown territory. At 38, he'd carried loss. Grief. Debt. But never family beyond Finn and Emily's memory. James, a brother he'd never known, was gone. But Ellie and Mia were here, their faces echoing Finn's, their laughter tying them to him. Nora, their guardian, was no longer just a grateful stranger. She was part of this, her presence a tether Caleb didn't know he needed. The trailer, cramped and worn, felt fuller. But the weight of what came next pressed hard. Finn broke the moment, his voice high. Dad, does this mean Ellie and Mia can come over all the time? Caleb managed a smile, ruffling his hair. We'll figure it out, buddy. Ellie, clutching her scarf, looked at Nora. Can we stay with Finn tonight? Mia nodded, her shy grin wide. Nora laughed. Soft. Not tonight, sweetie. But soon, Caleb caught her glance. A silent question. How do we do this? He didn't have answers. Not yet. Nora gathered the kids, their coats rustling. We should get home, she said, her voice gentle but firm. It's a lot to take in. Caleb nodded, standing, his hands awkward at his sides. Yeah. Gee, thanks, Nora. For this, he gestured at the envelope. The kids. Her. She smiled, eyes worn. We're family now. Caleb. All of us. The words landed soft, but they stirred something hope, fear, a pull he couldn't name. He walked them to the SUV, snow crunching under his boots. Finn hugged Ellie and Mia again, promising dragon drawings. While Nora lingered by the driver's door, You okay? She asked, voice low. Caleb shrugged. Honest. Trying to be... It's a lot. She nodded, her breath visible in the cold. I know. Let's talk tomorrow. The kids need us to sort this out. Caleb nodded, meeting her eyes. Yeah. Tomorrow. She climbed in, the SUV's taillights fading into the night, leaving him alone. Back inside, Finn was a sleepy bundle on the couch, his sketchbook open to a dragon with 3 heads. Caleb carried him to bed, tucking the quilt tight. Dad. I have sisters, Finn mumbled, eyes half closed. Caleb's heart swelled, his throat tight. Yeah, buddy. You do. He kissed his forehead, turning off the dinosaur lamp. Finn curled up in sleep, but Caleb couldn't shake his thoughts. His mind churned James's journal, Ellie's scarf, Mia's eyes, Nora's steady hand. He sat on the couch, Rusty snoring, the trailer quiet. The DNA test had given truth, but it opened a door he wasn't sure how to walk through. Morning came, gray and cold. Caleb was up, coffee brewing, Finn grabbing cereal. Can we see Ellie and Mia? Finn asked, milk dripping from his spoon. Caleb paused, mug in hand. Soon. Kid. Gotta work today. Finn nodded, but his grin didn't fade. The idea of sisters, a spark in his eyes. Caleb dropped him at school. The Pine Creek lot buzzing with kids and parents. A few moms smiled, their glances softer now. The hero worship fading into something neighborly. Caleb nodded, hurrying to his truck. The weight of family still heavy. At Ray's auto shop, the garage was familiar oil, metal, the clank of tools. Caleb slid into work, tightening a radiator hose. But his mind wasn't on it. Ray leaned over, grinning. Monroe, you look like you're solving world peace. Caleb grunted, wiping grease. Just bolts. Ray. But Ray wasn't fooled. This about those girls. Huh. Heard they're your kin. Caleb froze, his jaw tight. Who's talking? Ray shrugged. Small town. News spreads. Caleb's stomach twisted. The DNA results were private, but Pine Creek's rumor mill didn't care. He kept working, head down, but customers' comments stung. Heard you got family now. Real heartwarming stuff. Monroe. He nodded, short, his hands steady on a wrench. But inside, he felt exposed. He didn't want Finn. Ellie. Mia's story splashed across town. their bond dissected by strangers. It was theirs, fragile and new. By noon, Nora called. "Caleb," she said, voice urgent. The school called. Ellie heard kids whispering about the fire, about you being her dad. "She's upset." Caleb's grip tightened. "She okay?" he asked, voice rough. "She's with me now," Nora said. "Mia, too. Can we meet after work? They need you." Caleb nodded, though she didn't see. "Yeah, my place. 6. Nora's voice softened. "Thanks, Caleb. They need their dad." The word dad hit like a spark. He wasn't just Finn's father. Ellie and Mia were his, too. The responsibility was raw, bigger than the fire, heavier than debt. He worked through the afternoon, patching tires, changing oil. But his mind was on the girls, on Finn, on how to be what they needed. After work, Caleb picked Finn up, the kid chattering about a math test. At home, he made mac and cheese, simple, Finn's favorite. Finn noticed his quiet, "Dad, you okay?" he asked. Fork paused. Caleb forced a smile. "Yeah, buddy. Just thinking." Finn nodded, trusting, and Caleb's heart ached. He'd protect Finn's world. But now that world included Ellie and Mia, and he didn't know how to hold it all. Nora arrived at 6, Ellie and Mia trailing behind, their faces quieter than usual. Ellie's scarf was tight around her neck, Mia's eyes downcast. Finn hugged them, oblivious to the tension, pulling them to his sketchbook. Nora sat with Caleb at the kitchen table, coffee brewing. Ellie's teacher pulled her aside, Nora said, voice low. "Kids were asking if you're her dad." She didn't know what to say. Caleb's chest tightened. "What did she tell them?" Nora sighed. "Nothing." She shut down. "Mia, too. They're scared." "Caleb, this is big for them." He nodded, looking at the girls, their heads bent over Finn's drawings. "I don't know how to do this," he admitted, voice rough. "Finn's all I've had. Being their dad, it's new." Nora's eyes softened, her hand brushing his. "You're already their dad. You ran into fire for them. Just be you." Caleb met her gaze, her faith in him, a warmth he didn't expect. "What do they need?" he asked. Nora glanced at the girls. "To feel safe. To know you're not going anywhere." Caleb stood, crossing to the couch where the kids sat. He knelt, voice gentle. "Hey, Ellie, Mia, can we talk?" Ellie looked up, her eyes wary, Mia's hand clutching her sister's. Finn watched, curious. Caleb took a breath. "I heard school was rough today. Kids asking about me." Ellie nodded, slow. "They said you're our dad. Is it true?" Caleb's throat tightened. He glanced at Nora, who nodded, then back at the girls. "Yeah, it's true. The test we did, it says you're my daughters. Finn's your brother." Mia's eyes widened, Ellie's lips trembling. "But you didn't know us before," Ellie said, voice small. Caleb nodded. "Honest. I didn't. I wish I had. But I know you now. And I'm here." "Okay." Mia leaned into Ellie, whispering, "He saved us." Ellie's eyes glistened, but she nodded. "Okay," she whispered. Finn grinned, hugging them. "You're my sisters." The girls smiled, small but real, and Caleb's heart eased. Just a fraction. He wasn't sure he was enough, but he'd try. Nora joined them, her presence calming. "We're a team," she said, smiling at the kids. "All of us." Caleb caught her eye. Grateful. The evening unfolded drawings. Laughter. Rusty snoring. Nora stayed late, helping the kids settle, her warmth filling the trailer. When she left with Ellie and Mia, Caleb walked them out, snow falling soft. "Thanks," he said, voice low. Nora smiled, her eyes bright. "You're doing good, Caleb. We'll figure it out." He nodded, watching her drive off. The night quiet again. Back inside, Finn was asleep. Sketchbook open. Caleb sat, James's journal in hand, tracing his brother's words. "My little brother. Wonder if he's okay." "I'm here," Caleb whispered. The words for James, for himself. Days passed. The new reality settling. Caleb worked. Finn went to school. Ellie and Mia visited often. Nora was at constant texts, calls, dinners at her house. The kids grew closer. Their bond, a bright thread, dragons. Games. Secrets whispered in Finn's room. But Pine Creek's eyes didn't rest. Whispers followed Caleb grocery store. Garage. Diner. "He's got 3 kids now." "Mrs." Larson said, handing him coffee. "Big change." Caleb nodded. Short. Hating the scrutiny. Nora noticed. 2. At her house one Sunday. Soup simmering. She pulled Caleb aside. "The town's talking," she said, voice low. "It's upsetting the girls." Caleb's jaw tightened. "What are they saying?" Nora sighed. "That you're their dad. That I'm involved. It's confusing them." Caleb's chest tightened. Involved. Bitter. The word stirred something Nora's warmth. Her steady gaze, but he pushed it down. "I'll talk to them," he said. He sat with Ellie and Mia later. Finn nearby. "You hear stuff at school?" he asked. "Gentle." Ellie nodded, scarf twisting in her hands. "They say you and Nora are going to get married." Mia's eyes widened. Hopeful. Caleb's throat caught. "Nora's your guardian," he said. "Careful. She's family. Like you. But we're not like that." Ellie frowned. "But you like her, right?" Caleb hesitated. Finn watching. "She's good to us," he said. Dodging. "That's what matters." The girls nodded, but their eyes held questions. Caleb felt Nora's gaze from the kitchen, her presence a pull he couldn't ignore. She was more than a guardian, more than a friend, but he wasn't ready to name it. Not with Finn. Ellie. Mia depending on him, not with James' shadow so close. Work kept Caleb grounded oil changes, brake pads, raised teasing, but the garage wasn't a refuge. A reporter from the Pine Creek Gazette stopped by, notepad in hand. "Mr. Monroe, any comment on your new family?" Caleb's jaw tightened. "No comment," he said, turning away. The article ran anyway. Hero, dad finds long-lost daughters digging into James. Lily. The fire. Caleb threw the paper away. Anger hot. His life wasn't theirs to unpack. Nora called that night, promising to help. "I saw the article. I'm sorry." Caleb. He leaned against the trailer's counter. "Phone warm. Not your fault. Just wish they'd stop." Nora paused. "We need to protect the kids. Maybe meet with their school. Set things straight." Caleb nodded. Weary. "Yeah. Tomorrow." "Tomorrow." Nora agreed. The meeting was brief. The principal kind but firm. "We'll address the gossip," she said. Caleb and Nora nodded, leaving with Ellie and Mia waving from class. Outside, snow fell. Nora's coat brushing his arm. "You're good at this," she said, smiling. "Being their dad," Caleb shrugged. "Trying." Her eyes held him. Warm. And for a moment, the world was just them, back at the trailer. He touched James's journal, a new entry catching his eye. "I hope my kids know love, like I did with my brother." Chaos. Caleb felt heavy. He was giving that love to Finn, Ellie, Mia. But it came with fear. What if he failed them? What if the town's eyes broke their fragile bond? Nora invited them over Friday. Pizza and games. The kids' laughter, a balm. Caleb watched Nora, her ease with Finn, her care for Ellie and Mia. She caught him looking, smiling. "What?" she said. Playful. He shook his head. "Nothing. Just thankful." Her smile deepened, stirring that pole trust. Something more. Saturday. They went sledding, the kids' shouts echoing on Pine Creek's hills. Finn led, Ellie bold, Mia cautious but laughing. Caleb watched, his heart full. They were his, all three, and he'd fight for them. Nora joined, her sled crashing into Caleb's, her laughter bright. "You're terrible at this," she teased. Snow in her hair. Caleb grinned. "You're worse." For a moment, it was easy family. Joy. No shadows. But shadows came. Monday, a letter arrived from social services, addressed to Caleb. He opened it, heart pounding a request for a custody review, citing Ellie and Mia's new familial ties. Nora's guardianship was questioned, his role as their father under scrutiny. Caleb's hands shook, anger mixing with fear. He called Nora, voice tight. "You see this?" She was at the trailer in an hour, her face pale. "I got one too," she said, holding a similar letter. "They want to review everything. Guardianship. Your rights." Caleb's jaw clenched. "They can't take them from you. Or me." Nora's eyes glistened, but her voice was firm. "We'll fight." Together, they sat with the kids that night, explaining gently paperwork, meetings, nothing to worry about. Finn hugged Ellie, fierce. "You're my sisters," he said, voice small. Caleb's heart broke, but he nodded. Resolve hardened. He'd faced fire, debt, loss. This, he'd face too. Nora stayed late, planning lawyers, documents, a united front. Her hand brushed his, lingering. "We'll protect them," she said, eyes fierce. He nodded, her strength his anchor. "Yeah, we will." They sat, Finn quiet, Rusty snoring. The trailer warm. Caleb looked at Nora, her auburn hair catching light. Feeling it, loved. Maybe, growing where grief was. They moved forward, the custody meeting looming. Caleb focused on kids' school, drawings, sledding. Nora was there, her house a second home. Pine Creek whispered, but their bond was louder. One night, Ellie handed Caleb a drawing, 4 figures. Him, Finn, her, Mia, a dragon overhead. "Our family," she said, shy. He hugged her, eyes stinging. "Yeah, kid, our family." Mia tugged his sleeve, voice soft. "You won't leave, right?" Caleb knelt, meeting her eyes. "Never." Finn joined, their arms around him, their weight grounding him. Caleb looked at Nora, nodding, her smile steady. Whatever came courts, rumors, shadows, they'd face it. James was gone, but his love lived in Ellie. Mia, Finn, in Caleb's fight to keep them close. The trailer was quiet, the kind of quiet that settles after a long day, with only the hum of the fridge and Rusty's soft snores breaking the silence. Caleb Monroe sat at the kitchen table, a cup of coffee gone cold in his hands, the custody review letter from social services staring up at him. Its official seal and typed words felt like a threat, questioning his place in Ellie and Mia's story, challenging Nora's life. Finn was asleep in his room, his sketchbook open to a dragon with wings spread wide, a symbol of the family they were building. Outside, Pine Creek's snow fell steady, blanketing the town in a hush. But inside, Caleb's thoughts were a storm. He'd faced plenty. Emily's death, medical debt, the fire that made him a hero. But this was different. Ellie and Mia were his daughters, Finn's sisters, tied to him by blood and a brother he'd never known. James's journal, tucked in a drawer, held pieces of a past he was still piecing together. Nora, with her steady gaze and auburn hair, was his ally, maybe more. Though he hadn't let himself name it, the custody fight loomed. A battle he wasn't sure how to fight. But he knew one thing. He wouldn't lose his kids. His phone buzzed, Nora's name lighting the screen. He answered, voice low. Hey. Her voice was tight. Quick. Caleb. I just got a call from the social worker. They're scheduling the review for next week. Thursday. Caleb's grip tightened, his knuckles white. That soon? Nora exhaled. Yeah. They want to meet us. The kids. See where things stand. He leaned back, the trailer's walls closing in. What do we do? Nora's voice steadied. We get a lawyer. I found one in town. Specializes in family law. Can we meet tomorrow to talk it through? Caleb nodded, though she couldn't see it. Yeah, my place. After work. 6, she said. I'll bring the girls. Finn can keep them busy. Caleb managed a half smile. He'd love that. They hung up, and Caleb sat, the letter's words blurring. Familial ties, guardianship status, best interests of the children. Sure, he'd saved them from a fire. But this fight needed more than that. It took proof, stability, a life he wasn't sure his trailer and paycheck could show. Morning came, cold and sharp. He was up, brewing up coffee. Finn stumbling out in pajamas. Dad, are Ellie and Mia coming over? He asked, grabbing cereal. Caleb nodded, pouring milk. Tonight, buddy. They'll bring their drawings. Finn's grin, his excitement a spark in the gray dawn. Caleb dropped him to school. Pine Creek Elementary buzzing with kids' shouts and parents' chatter. A dad clapped his shoulder. Heard about your girls. Monroe. Good man. Caleb nodded. Quick. Hurrying to his truck. The town's support was kind, but it came with eyes. Always watching. At Ray's auto shop, the garage smelled of oil and metal, a comfort he clung to. He dove into work replacing a carburetor, patching a muffler, but his thoughts were on the review, on Ellie's face, on Mia's face. Ray noticed, tossing him a rags. You're all quiet. Monroe. Everything okay? Caleb wiped grease, shrugging. Yeah, just life. Ray raised a brow but didn't push, letting him work in peace. By noon, a customer, Mrs. Larson from the diner, leaned over the counter. Caleb. You're doing right by them girls. Town's rooting for you. He nodded. Uneasy. Thanks. Ma'am. Her kindness was real, but it reminded him of the Pine Creek's gossip mill, churning since the DNA test. The latest talk, his new family. Nora's interest had reached the kids' school, confusing them. He wanted to shield them, keep their world safe, but the town wouldn't let him. After work, he picked Finn up, the kid chatting about a science project. At home, he made grilled cheese sandwiches. Simple, Finn's favorite. Finn sensed his mood. "Everything okay? Dad, okay?" he asked. Caleb paused, knife in hand pausing. "Yeah, buddy. Just thinking." Finn nodded. Trusting, and Caleb's heart ached. He'd protect Finn's happiness, no matter what. Nora arrived at 6, Ellie and Mia trailing, their coats dusty with snow. Finn hugged them, pulling them to his room with a shout, "I drew a dragon with armor." Nora laughed, pulling a folder. Her face set, determined. "Lawyer's info," she said, handing it to Caleb. They sat at the table, coffee brewing, the kids' laughter spilling from Finn's room. Nora opened it, spreading papers, legal terms, forms. A photo of a lawyer, a woman named Claire. "She's good," Nora said. "Handled cases like this. Says we need to show stability, love, that the girls are happy." Caleb scanned the papers, his chest tight. "My trailer's not exactly stable," he said. "Honest. Bills pile up. I'm just a mechanic." Nora nodded, eyes firm. "You're their dad." You saved them. That's more than a paycheck." He nodded, her faith steadying him. "They want what from us?" Nora sighed. "Proof that we're what's best for them. They'll look at your home, income, the girls' school records. My guardianship's solid, but your role as their dad, it complicates things." Caleb's jaw tightened. "Complicates how?" Nora hesitating. "They might push for you to take custody, or challenge mine, if they think it's unstable." He stood, pacing, the trailer nodding. "They can't take them from you. You're their nanny." Nora, her eyes glistened, surprised. "Not their nanny, but their guardian." He shook his head. "You're more than that. They love you." Nora nodded, raw smile. "Thanks, but we'll need to do this." Caleb nodded. 2. They planned documents, school reports, a visit to Claire tomorrow. Nora's hand brushed his, lingering, warm. "We'll get through it," she said. He nodded, nodding. The kids' laughter, shouting, broke through. Finn's voice loud, "Mia's dragon's awesome." Nora laughed, easing tension. "He's strong," she said, nodding at Finn. "Like you." Caleb nodded at her. Nora left them, Finn waving goodbye. Caleb sat. The lawyer's on the desk. James's by him. He opened it, reading. "Heard my girls deserve a family." He felt heavy. He'd fight. But failing Finn, Ellie felt heavy. He couldn't sleep. Thoughts racing through courts. Questions. Eyes. Days blurred. Then the review closing in. He met Claire, a sharp lawyer with kind eyes, at her office. Nora nodded, grounding him there. "You're a father," she said. "Powerful. But you'll need to show you're ready." Caleb nodded, uneasy. "Trying." Claire smiled. "We'll see." They worked late, gathering proof. Finn's pay stubs, school records, reports. The girls were thriving art awards, grades, praise, teachers. Nora's house, with lake view, warm, was safe, but his trailer worried him, though enough for Finn. For 3, he voiced it, low voice. What if they see my place and think it's not enough? Nora nodded. Eyes fierce. Eyes fierce. It's enough because you're here. Her words carried him, but he doubted. He fixed the trailer, fixed a leak, tidied Finn, patched walls, added a bunk bed for girls. Just in, Finn helped. Excited. For Ellie. He asked, hammering nails. Caleb nodded, ruffling Finn's hair. Finn, yeah. For family. Finn nodded. Town whispering. At the diner. For your girls. She said, winking. He nodded. Thanks, short. But it stung. Hero heard faces battle. Digging into debt, James. Fire, fire. They don't know, he told Nora, shaking Nora. She shook her head. Let's talk. Caleb nodded. They felt it. Too quiet. Heard kids said you might take us away. Ellie told her. Nora nodded. There for dinner. Knelt beside her. Not taking you from her, he said. Gently. She leaned in, nodding. Mia watched. Nodded. Finn hugged. Were fierce. Echoing. Echoing her. Nora nodded. Before the review. Night before. He couldn't sit. James's. On couch. Rusty snoring. Nora family. Hearing family's not blood. It's who he shows. Nora. Her strength. Came care. Finn. She was family. Two. The pull love. Love was there. Growing. Thursday dawned. The review day. He dressed sharp jeans. Button up. Clean jeans. Steady hands, steady. He dropped Finn. Met Nora. Girls at school. Claire at her office. Ellie. Mia clung. Eyes wide. Clinging. Be honest. She said. Tell them your family. He nodded. Nodding. They talked. Office sterile gray walls. Lights. Fluorescent. A table. Miss Patel. Worker. Kind. Direct. Mr. Ms. She said. We're here to ensure their best interests. Caleb nodded. Throat tight. Nodding. Nora sat straight. Folder ready. The kids went first. In a side room. Voices faint. Caleb's turn. Miss. Asked life. Work. Income. Trailer. Finn. Mechanic. He said. Steady voice. Steady. I make enough for him. Finn. I'll do what it takes for him. Ellie nodded. Jotting notes. Nodding. You're home. He swallowed. Honesty, honest. Small town. But ours. I'm fixing up. She nodded. Eyes soft. But questions didn't ease debt. Past. Roll sudden. She went. Nora spoke. Voice calm. Detailing steady. They're my family. She said. Firmly. He's guardian. I've raised them. We're a team. Missa. Nodded. Pen moving. Nodding. He watched. Nodding. Strength light. Felt pull deeper. Nora returned. Kids. Ellie smiling. Mia clutching Finn. Finn nodded. Patel smiled. How do you feel? Ellie glanced at him. Saved small town. He's us. Mia smiled. Nice. Sister. Finn nodded. Squeezing hands. His grin. Eyes burned. Full heart full. The hearing adjourned. They promising soon. Decisions soon. Caleb lingered. Snow outside. Nora nodding. Did good. 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 She smiled. Tired. Real tired. He shrugged. Yeah, felt like. She touched him. Warm arm warm. You showed who. They drove. Kids' chatter filling. Nora's house warmed. Smelled like bread. Smelled good. He hugged Finn. Ran to hug. Hugged. Running. They sat in so. Coffee in. What's now? He asked. Low voice. Low. She sighed. Wait. She thinks. Strong. We'll wait. They nodded. Heard James. What he'd want. She nodded. This was you wanted. Me. Here. Them. Together. He nodded. Her lifeline. Nora, you know. She nodded. Bright eyes. Bright. They waited. Kids asleep. Blurred days blurring. He worked bolts. Gears. Oil. Finn's school went. Going. Ellie visited. Nora there texts. Calls. Dinners. House warm house. Mia whispered Finn's games. Secrets. Secrets whispered secrets. Nora was. Pine quiet town whispered. Gossip quiet. Moved on, but he felt shadow. Review shadow. Carried alone. One night. Nora's. Kids asleep. Finn asleep. She slept. She washed. Dishes stacked. No need, he said. Grabbing a towel. Grabbing a closet. She smiled. Nora feels normal. He nodded. Shoulder brushed. Nodding. Nora, she said. Glad it's you, glad. She nodded. Eyes searching. Warm eyes, warm. Nora nodded too. He nodded. Her smile. Air shifted. Shifted air pull. He couldn't. Dad, she said. Can I? Finn broke, voice broke. He stepped back. Coming. Nora laughed. Laughing soft. Laughing soft. The call came. Claire at the office. Office at Claire's. It's good, he said. Nora keeps. Nods joint custody. Caleb nodded. Relief rushing. Did it, she said. They told kids. Finn cheering. Cheered. Hugged. Hugging, hugged tight. Your dad, she said. And Finn's sister. Mia smiled. Nodded. Hugging wide. Hugging wide. He hugged. Finn piling. Hugged. Heart whole. Full heart whole. They moved. Custody settled. Family settled. He fixed cabins. Added bunks. Bunk beds for girls' Finns. Drawings. Finn's. Nora's was home. There's Finn. Two. Finn hugged them. Rusty snoring. Snores, snoring. She was there. Bond deep. Deepening bond, deepening. One night, she handed photo James. Young James. But they'd proud, she said. Soft voice, soft. Yeah. He nodded. Fingers brushing. Feeling hers. He sat with Finn. Ran Ellie. Mia running Dragon Stories Dragon. They were close family. Close. She smiled. Hugged. Nodded. Smiling. They faced it, storm. Wow. What a ride it's been with Caleb. Finn. Ellie. Mia. And Nora. Thank you all so much for sticking with their story through every twist, turn, and heartfelt moment. Your support has truly brought this journey to life, and I'm so grateful for each of you. If you loved the finale, please give it a like. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. What was your favorite part? Or how did the ending make you feel? This may be the end of their tale, but who knows what stories we'll share next. Stay tuned for more. And thanks again for being part of this adventure.